Hi, how are you today? It's Lisa Eklund from the Mindful Equestrian. Um, kind of been a little busy, and dealing with all this heat has kept me um, kind of not as engaged, and I'm sure it's been the same with you. I hope everybody's been doing well, and those of you who are horse showing and stuff have been able to stay cool and not be overwhelmed by this heat. Luckily for us here today, it's cooled down, so that's great. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is people believing, many riders. It comes up a lot in coaching, in my clinics and stuff, that people feel they're not good enough. They don't have enough. They aren't good enough. They're always wishing for more, comparing themselves to others, worrying about what others think of them, and all of those things. And um, and the first thing I want to say is you are good enough. Just right now, think, I am good enough. I am right this moment, the person I need to be right now, and not to keep thinking, oh, like I wish I had, I wish I had, I wish I had. And what happens is this is a pretty normal thing because the brain has a negative bias. So it does this to protect us. It keeps us safe. So if it notices something that's not quite right in our minds, even if it's not something that's going to be dangerous or unsafe to us, really, but if it's something that we think of as not good, the brain goes, okay. And if you think about that enough, it becomes a limiting belief. So if you constantly, worry about not having enough and feeling you're in lack, your brain's going to shift to that. It's going to constantly be wanting to go that direction and build that negative bias, because it's, in our ancestors' days, when it needed to really, our brain really needed to be on guard all the time to be sure, we weren't going to, be eaten by some wild animal or whatever. The brain was always looking for, needed to pay attention to negative things. And that's what happens. That's why our brains can kind of easily get stuck on what we don't have, what we're lacking, what we did wrong, all those things, because it's just kind of normal for our brain to do that. So the trick is for you to kind of shift that focus and, focus on what's going well, focus on what you do have, focus on, kind of bringing more of an abundance mindset. So, and again, our brain wants to go right back to those. Number one, we've created a limiting belief, so it's rewired to go right back to, our belief of not being good enough and everything. But it's also kind of deeply wired in to us for our brain to focus, like I said, on the negative. So it's really important. Excuse me, I will drink of water here. For us to, you and me and whoever, to focus on what's going well. And when we do that, it starts to make those positive things, wired into our brain more regularly, more easily. So positive things don't naturally stick like Velcro. The negative ones do. And we want to focus on what's going well, so we remember that and can build on that. And I really notice it when I'm working with riders in clinics, and I get them focusing on, say they're riding a course of jumps or whatever, and they focus on what went well and what they have, right? What went well right now, what they have right now. Their whole attitude changes, and then they can work more positively on the things that didn't go well. Like maybe they jumped a course and had 7 great jumps, but missed that, one. They had one, bad distance, and that's all they can think about. And if they focus on what went well, then they can actually think about, okay, how did that go well? And how can I shift that and help fix things for them? How can I use that and for fixing the thing that didn't go well? So it just it creates a shift, a whole positive shift in how you look at things. And the other thing that I see that happens along this line is people worry a lot about what others think. I've been working with a client right now who's and worrying about that, and people gossiping at the horse shows and all that stuff, and it happens. It's kind of human nature. You can't get rid of all that, but you can manage how you deal with it, how you react to it or respond to it. Actually, instead of being reactive, how you respond to it, and to not worry, whatever people are thinking, saying, if people are gossipy, that, that's just often their some limiting belief they have, and they're trying to feel more empowered by doing that. And the best thing is to, just kind of walk away from that and just say, that's about them. It's not about me. And also to let go of worrying about, I don't, my horse isn't as fancy as that one, or I wish I had that saddle, or, why don't I have all the money, that they do, because getting into that, kind of envious mindset, it kind of gets you, again, stuck in that mindset of lack, like I'm not good enough, I don't have enough. And therefore you kind of get stuck and you can't go forward because you're continually thinking about all this negative stuff that you lack instead of thinking about what you have and how you have improved and really building on what's been going well instead of breaking everything down by thinking about what isn't going well or what you don't have. So what I want to ask you guys to do today, to-do list, is when I'm done with this live, or when you're done listening to it, when you have time, to go make a list of everything you have right now in your life that's positive. And, do that with hard skills. So what are hard skills? Those are the skills you've gained in whatever you're doing, whether it's riding, whether it's, and do this in your riding, but it's also a great thing to do for the rest of your areas of your life as well, in your work or school or whatever, your personal life. Think about what are all the skills that you have. So in riding, and think about how you've improved those skills. So last year I couldn't jump a full course, for example, and now this year I'm able to jump around a full course of jumps, and navigate the turns and do lead changes, whatever it may be. Those are the hard skills, right? I have a good position. I've improved this. I have that. So what are the hard skills that you've accomplished on and off your horse? And then, what are the soft skills that you bring to your life? And those are the things that, you can work on soft skills and improve them, but many of them are things that you kind of bring naturally. So maybe you're a really good people person. Maybe you're really good with animals and really connect with animals. Maybe you're very organized. You're naturally an organized person. You're a really good critical thinker. You're very sensitive and attuned to others. What are the things that you have kind of innately that are really strong skills that you bring to whatever you do? Because if you can think about that, and you can start using those skills more to get better and to grow and improve, right? So what are those skills that you have? And sometimes we don't really realize we have those, and don't give ourselves enough credit for a lot of the soft skills we may have. So really think about that. Really, focus on those things. And then what are the resources that you have? So maybe you don't have a ton of money, but you have supportive family and friends. Maybe you don't have the fanciest horse, but you have the sweetest horse, and just is so easy, right? Maybe your horse isn't so easy, but you've got, just a great situation for them and a wonderful trainer who can help you. So what are all the things, resources that you have? Maybe you do have financial resources. Maybe, whatever they may be, what are the resources? And then, even the resources you have access to online to learn more, to listen to videos, whatever those resources you have access to and you can use, write those down. And I want you to really make a good list of all these things so that you start thinking about what it is you have and work with what you have as you build and gain more. Now, you may never get to that point of that super fancy, expensive horse, because maybe you never will quite have that money, but that's okay. Can you improve and do the best you can with what you have and have fun with it? Enjoy it instead of constantly worrying about, oh, I wish I had, I wish I had, I wish I had. That you are good enough. I should have looked this up, and I'll see if I can do it really quickly. So I'm right now, I'm typing this out to search for it. It's a poem my father used to say to me, and it actually came up recently. It's an English poem. And when I was a little kid, he used to say this to me, and I probably didn't understand it as well, but it's come up in my mind in the last year or so. It pops in, and I think, there's a strong message behind this. So the poem is called The Little Elf Man. And it goes like this. I met a little elf man once, down where the lilies blow. I asked him why he was so small and why he didn't grow. He slightly frowned, and with his eyes he looked me through and through. I'm just as big for me, he said, as you are big for you. So it's a simple little poem, right? But it says something really powerful, that you are good enough as you are right now. Now, I'm as big for me as you are big for you. You are a unique person. You have a lot of good things. You're good enough. So anyway, that poem just has popped up in my head recently over the past couple of years. I'm like, yeah, there's a real strong message there. So remind yourself that you are as good for you as, everybody else is good for them. You are perfect just as you are. All right. Well, have a great day. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, please contact me, or setting up a clinic. I would love to hear from you. My email is lisa@mindfulequestrian.com. You can also call me at 315-427-9498. Have a wonderful day.